Hello everyone, I'm Srinivas. I'll be talking about data standardization. So what is data standardization? It's the process of converting different sources of data into a singular consistent format. Now what is data standardization in banks? So in banking, standardization or conformance or reclassification is basically the process of converting the customer data and mapping it to the product data, that is a format in which the product expects the data. This process of mapping the data is known as standardization. Why do we need standardization? So many of the products, if they don't provide the user a functionality for standardizing the data, the user would have to manually map what sort of data, what calculation has to be taking place for that data. So this is a tiresome process. Like you can see, a pen paper approach as shown in the PPT. In order to avoid this, what we provided at BPPL RAMs is a user-friendly intuitive UI that helps the user write rules in order to map the data and automates this process. So that is data standardization for us. So let's go through a use case example. So in the LHS, you can see that we have bank specific value, that is student or staff or government employee kind of a data, which is being mapped to the Basel specific values in the RHS, that is retail. So once we apply this mapping, we can perform specific calculations according to this mapping. That is why we need standardization. So what does BPPL provide in terms of standardization? So the BPPL RAMs provides a 3-approach solution. So the first one being a intuitive user interface. This user interface lets the user map his data by creating user-defined rules. Now these rules automate the process of mapping and help the user, makes the job of the user very simple. The second approach involves using machine learning in order to create these rules in the first place. The user just has to choose the data to be mapped, while the model uses previous user experience and automatically finds the most appropriate target. The third approach is for people who are more comfortable using Excel. So these kind of people can download the templates provided by us for defining these rules, make manual changes and upload it back to our product. So these are the 3 different ways of basically mapping data by creating rules. Moving on to the demo.
This is the UI for data standardization. As you can see, we have 2 different tabs, one for viewing the rules, other one is for adding the rules. Now as part of adding the rules, we first fill the rule metadata like the rule name, the rule description, let's say demo 1, and select the type, which is standardization. Now in order to basically map the data, first we need to choose the source dimension from which we're going to map the data. So let me just probably choose Basel asset class, and the column would be bank custom. So I need to add the dimension. Now let me choose a target dimension that this source data is going to be mapped to. So I'll choose target, let's say target 3 with NICE mapping. NICE is a common North American industry classification. So in order to map the data, we have 3 approaches. So first is basically the UI approach of the user manually creates the rules. So this is where we choose the data and choose on the target value that we need and click on map. So when we click on map, we can see a preview table with the corresponding mapping. So we have a 2x1 mapping where we have 2 different data and we have 1 target value, which is what is being displayed over here. Now if I increase the target data and click on map, and let's say I'll choose all, and I click on map. So as I click on map, you can see that all the changes have been appropriately shown in the preview table. So this is the first approach for mapping. Now let's say the user wants to use the ML based approach. Now for the ML based approach, let's here go with rule 2, filling the metadata, demo, and I'll select standardization. Now I would like to basically create a rule, but I don't want to automatically choose the mappings. I want to create the rule using ML based approach. So for using that kind of an approach, what we can do is basically choose the data that we want to map and hit this particular select target button. So what the select target button does, as you can see, it automatically assigns the best target value for this set of data using machine learning. Now if I basically change this particular data and choose a different set of data, as you can see, if I hit the target button, it automatically changes the kind of mapping that basically suits this set of combination. And on clicking the map button, I can also see the same thing in the preview table. Now initially it was NICE, now it became column 1 with a different set of value. So these are the 2 different approaches as part of ML and a normal user creating a role for mapping his data. Third approach is basically the Excel based download. So as you can see, there's a download option over here, and I hit the download button. As you can see, an Excel template is being downloaded. The user can use this template to basically modify the kind of mapping he wants and upload it back to our place. So these are the different kinds of adding, viewing, deleting the rules as part of standardization that makes the life of a banker easier in terms of standardizing data while using a new product like BPPL ramps. Thank you.